I had a look at psychographics and demographics to help try and have a look at some target audience and help us try and figure out how the stream's going to look basically, just to get some more information on what we should be doing. Um, so demographics are a general audience, not many specifics. Um, these things can apply to everybody. Um, a lot of the time, it's not necessarily yes or no answers, but the range of what the answers could be is minimal. Age, gender, nationality, religion, sexual orientation, marital status, income, education, employment status, and line of work. And then psychographics have a large range of possible answers, very specific to each person. Hobbies, social class, life values, likes and dislikes, and wants and aspirations. I guess social class is probably more demographics, but that affects your psychology, your way of thinking. I guess some of them. There's a little bit of a crossover, I guess, in all of them. But then I underlined the ones that I thought would kind of matter: age, gender, nationality, hobbies, likes and dislikes. Um, so these are the things that I wanted to try and get. Those were the pieces of information that I wanted to get analyzing the demographics and psychographics. Um, Analysis. Only half of people who watch high-level Overwatch esports will watch lower-level Overwatch esports events. The other tournaments listed were still extremely high-level esports, besides one or two stray answers. Um, which, if we go down here, um, contenders, open division, collegiate, calling all heroes, which were things listed up here. So yeah. Actually, there was an answer that I had to remove because it was the whole response was obviously skewed. So I guess the percentages are off, but the overall impact of what's being said is still the exact same. Um, their answers didn't really change any of the conclusions that I'm going to draw because they were null and void. They were obviously a person who was just trying to skew some answers, so I had to take it off. Guess I should have evidenced that, but um, so the only ones that were small tournaments were most Semper community tournaments, Welsh Esports League, and non-specific amateur tournaments. That's all they kind of really said, just any amateur tournaments, um, which doesn't really help us too much. I wish they'd given examples. Like I said, if yes, name them, but is what it is. The Welsh Esports League, the only issue that I take with that is that it was developed by Esports Wales, which already had a following that had a specific demographic of Welsh people, and it doesn't specifically focus on Overwatch. Um, their community was built up before that, so that's why I'm not going to use them as an example. I could have a look and see what they do, but I'm not going to use them as the prime example of what it should look like because their audience is not built off of just Overwatch. Their audience is built off of um, the community that they already had, and a lot of the community that watches the Overwatch stuff is probably not that interested in Overwatch as much as they are just supporting Welsh esports. Whereas Semper community tournaments are watched by people who actually care about Overwatch and care about um, Overwatch gameplay and esports and tournaments and just enjoy the esport in general, which is why I'm going to have a look at Semper community and look at their visuals and see what they do and see if we can try and replicate some of that as well and see how are they drawing people in with interest. So yeah. Wide age demographic. Majority is 17 to 24, but 31 and above, surprisingly, is a large portion too. I did not expect that 31 and above was going to be so big. I probably should have had more than 4 categories looking at it now, but I kind of assumed that 30 and above was going to be the least. I thought it was probably going to be mostly 17 to 24, with some 16 and below and 24 to 30. But I was wrong. Nobody 16 or below, which means our stream should not attempt to pander to a younger audience at all. Still no swearing. So we still need to be professional, but I think we don't need to worry so much about trying to entertain a younger generation of people. We can just be professional, and do what the Overwatch League does, which is professional casting, try and have it to a higher standard, the highest standard possible, and don't worry about trying to pander to a younger audience, like I said. Oh, I can update it. Okay, right, there we go. So there you go. There's the more updated version. So it's still majority 17 to 24. The majority of viewers are males, no females, and some non-binary. Not sure how to use this info. I don't think this actually does factor into anything. I don't think knowing their gender will change how we present the stream or anything. But it is evidencing that I know what a demographic and a psychographic is. So I don't think this will actually matter though. I think Overwatch enjoyers are Overwatch enjoyers, and I think if people are going to come watch an Overwatch tournament then, or an Overwatch show match, then they'll come watch it because they think that's interesting, not because they're a boy or a girl or non-binary or anything else. Then this was probably the second most important piece of information that I got. So I didn't structure it in the best way possible, in all fairness. But I looked at where people were from. Then I looked at what times they're free to watch Overwatch esports. And then I looked at what days of the week they are typically available to watch Overwatch esports. Now, what I didn't think about was the fact that if somebody is from Europe, there are multiple different time zones in Europe, and the time that they're free is often very different. Or like is because I haven't write it down in British Standard Time or Greenwich Mean Time or British Summer Time, sorry, or Greenwich Mean Time. It means that they could have literally put it in any time zone that they wanted. So what I've had to do is I've went through and I've looked at every single individual response, looked at are they in Europe or are they in UK or are they in America, and then I've made the assumption that most Europeans are going to be in CEST, which is the most standard European time, really. Most European countries work out of BST or CEST. So, well, in summertime that is. Anyway, so then I went through and I converted them all. So these were the results that we got. They are not in ascending order, which I probably should have done. But the most common time is 7 p.m. BST, 7 p.m. British time. Then it's 9 p.m. and 6 p.m. each have 2, and then 10 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 a.m. each have 1. So to me, this says that we should probably start the stream at about 7 p.m. Maybe we can go a little bit earlier, but I think the sweet spot will be 7 p.m. because people will likely be free from 6 p.m. onwards. So if we promote this well enough, the way that I look at this is if we promote it well enough that it's starting at 7 and we reach a big audience with this, and I mean we really have to put out some clinically good content that's going to promote everything, and we get this time and the date out, date still pending. If we get these things out there, then If we get these things out there, then people who are typically free at 6 will likely still be free at 7 as well. So they'll be free from 6 until whenever. So they'll be able to come home and be like, all right, at 7 p.m. this stream is going to be happening, so I'll keep myself free if they're interested that much in watching it. So we'd hit that 6 p.m. category, we'd hit the 4 p.m. category, and then depending on how long the stream runs, we'll hit the 9 p.m. category. I don't think it's worth pushing it back so late. I think like a 6:30 p.m. start where we have a little bit of an intro to the stream with a starting soon section, and then the casters get to talk a little bit about the game before it starts. And then straight after that, we go into the games at 7 p.m. We should hit a very, very perfect audience stream. People aren't in work. Well, most people aren't in work past 6 p.m. anyway. There's a lot of 9 to 5 workers. So people aren't in work, they aren't in school, they're home, they've got nothing to do. A lot of casual people will be free at that point in time. Everyday people will be free at that time. And then I did a little look at what is the best day of the week. The best day of the week is Friday or Saturday. 10 people out of 11 put that. So there's only one person who isn't available on Fridays or Saturdays. I think it's fairly obvious that it's going to be a Friday or a Saturday. So Friday or Saturday night at 7 p.m. is probably best. So maybe 6:30 p.m. start, 7 p.m. for the start of the game. We should hopefully hit a sweet spot of being able to hit as many people in the Overwatch community as possible. Listed hobbies likely won't help us to improve the experience or viewers, the experience of viewers in this case. Sorry. As expected, a lot of gaming, Overwatch, D&D, maybe to be expected. Esports casting, music listening, Overwatch, gaming, music, YouTube, gaming, coaching, anime, music, Overwatch, gaming. I don't think those things are really going to help us. They're to be expected. What are people's hobbies who like to watch Overwatch esports events? It's Overwatch and gaming. But it's nice to have that there because maybe we could have had a large audience of people saying we like to go do this and we could promote that or something. But yeah. So that is psychographics and demographics, and I think an important piece of information actually to add on to the end of this is that I specifically said to people, or put when I was promoting the survey, if you don't watch Overwatch esports, don't bother. You don't have to do the survey. So although there was options there to say no, I don't watch these things, I still put on the message. So everybody who's answered to this will be people who watch Overwatch esports. So that is the psychographics and demographics of people who watch Overwatch esports events, and therefore people who would watch our stream. So yeah, that was cool.